I don't want to fuck with anything. Doesn't matter. I shouldn't have to remind you. I should tell you once. I told you it was a 5 GB download. You literally could have just done it right after.
I literally forget what I did after.
So, do you plan on coming by your microphone anytime today?
1 second. I'm not done setting up.
Right. So you contacted me, said, Nick, I'm ready to record.
You said you were going to take a shower, and then you were going to tell me. You did not tell me.
But, like, why wouldn't you just be set up beforehand? Why couldn't you?
I ran out of toilet paper, so I went to go buy toilet paper.
You were home when I jumped on Discord.
Yeah.
So what? How
My
long?
laptop was open, motherfucker.
How long had you been home before I got in Discord?
I've been home for 5 minutes, and then I went to go pick up toilet paper.
You could have set it up in 5 minutes.
Well, I'm setting it up right now, Nick. Are you in that much of a rush?
No, but I'm just annoyed because it's like, hey, when are you ready to record? It's like, oh, well, I'm not ready. So then I said, okay, I'll give you a time, soon. And then you decided, fuck setting up, fuck any sort of preparation, whatever. He'll just be here when he's here.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you're an arsehole. You look like a right mug right now.
That's not how that phrase is used.
I just hope you can live with that.
Connection, authorized, voice. Yeah. Ooh, alright, cool. It's on the right one. Alright. Have you logged in on your PlayStation?
What?
Are you on your PlayStation right now?
Yes. Because when I say I'm ready, I mean I'm ready.
I was just gonna.
I don't just spread lies and slander.
I was gonna just jump in and download the game, but I guess not.
I mean, you can have it downloaded in the background, so that you know. So I know you're actually downloading it. Because knowing you, even after this whole conversation we had, you still won't download it.
There's not gonna lie. There's a good chance.
Carlos, we're already late. Take another minute. Go to the PlayStation Store and download Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. All right.
I'm doing that right now. Are you recording right now?
Absolutely, I'm recording.
Oh, that's great.
It's gonna look very good for you.
Maybe I'm not getting hired because I have these videos up.
Maybe you're not getting hired because you're a terrible person, therefore a terrible worker.
Can't be that. If it was a personality test, then like most people I know at work wouldn't have a job. All right, there we go. It's downloading. Let me switch back. There we go. Feel free to invite me again.
I just like one of the worst people I've ever met in my life. Genuinely.
What always there for you?
So I've been listening to the old Ricky Gervais radio show, like before his podcast. Basically the same exact thing. I feel like what, Carlos?
I feel like you do this all the time.
Do what?
No, wait. One second.
What the?
Go through this.
Guys, I don't even know why I try. I don't know why I record with him. Like, I have a very successful channel on my own. Why do I have to? Not very. I have a moderately, very minimal successful channel on my own. Why do I bring him into this? It only invites stress on me that I don't need. These videos do okay. They're not even my best videos. Like, it's not worth the hassle.
Do they really stress you out that much?
You stress me out.
I don't understand how.
So, you said, I feel like, and then fucking disappeared.
I forget what I was talking. Oh, I feel like you listen to the Ricky Gervais thing all the time.
I do, because I have a very long drive to work and back. What I was trying to say is, for a while, I thought the podcast dynamic between you, me, and Spencer was sort of similar in that there's the straight man. Two of them have a pretty good dynamic, and then one of them's a fucking idiot. And I thought I was like the Ricky Gervais in that part, where it's just like, oh, I can goof around and stuff like that. No, that's definitely Spencer. You're definitely Carl Pilkington because you're a fucking idiot who just has so many wrong opinions about life and some terrible stories.
Despite having the highest degree in our friend group.
Yeah, a lot of good it's done you. And unfortunately, not unfortunately. And then I'm Stephen Merchant, and that I'm just blown away by the antics of you two. I didn't want to be in this position, but I am.
Alright, let's duel, motherfucker.
I need better friends.
I don't think so.
I'm working on it. I'm hanging out with a couple different people this week for the first time. Trying to replace
shout
you.
out to you.
I hope you're not concerned, but I found another black guy.
No, I'm very concerned now.
This is a true thing. When on my graduation status, one of my friends commented, and you screenshotted it and texted me and said, "Who is this?"
I'm sorry.
Like a jealous girlfriend. Like you didn't care about anyone else who commented, but that one person.
Just trying to protect my spot,
You're such a ridiculous person. Also, you use this deck like every time now.
I actually really like it, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it better, but I'm only doing that by like.
Have you thought about adding what is it? Aloe, whatever that fucking mechanical kangaroo thing is. And then you can add
I forgot my calling card.
Phantom Blaster. Your staples, your shitty card staples. Never mind basic magic and traps. No, you want to add garbage.
Fuck that. Monsters all the way.
Alright. Unless you're trying to activate an effect. Okay, that's not good. Really thought I had a 5-star monster in this deck. I guess not. Uh-oh. Alright. Cool. Alright. Whatever. That's my turn.
My roommates think it's odd how I just never ask people how their day is going.
Because you don't give a shit. You're a selfish prick.
No, but I really came down to it. It's just like I realized I only ask people that question if I genuinely don't know what the fuck to talk to you about, or I genuinely don't care about your day. Like if I do care,
I do think it's funny. I do think it's a weird paradox where you only ask about people's day when you don't give a shit how their day is. It's just such a mindless question.
To me, it's rude. Like it feels like I'm reaching for something if I have to ask that. Like I know if something happens in your day, you're gonna tell me about it, or maybe that's just like my friendship with you, where I feel like if something happens to you, you'll tell me, and I don't feel the need really to keep on asking because you're just not gonna tell me if I keep asking.
I do feel like I leave you in the dark a lot, but I mean you have learned, unlike my father, where it's just like, where you've realized that if I'm not gonna tell you something, I'm not gonna tell you it, regardless of how much you ask. My dad still, every time I leave the house, goes like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Why would I tell you?" And he goes,
"That's fucking weird. That's weird as shit to me that you don't tell your dad where you're going."
Because it's just the dumbest thing in the world. It's like, I'm gonna go hang out with this person whose name you're not gonna know. It's not gonna matter.
It's not more. It's
no. So like, I'll say like I'm going to hang out with a friend, and he'll be like, "What friend?" It's like, what? It doesn't matter.
Nah, it kind of does.
That information is not gonna help you in the least.
After hearing my dad's perspective on it, it legitimately is just more like.
What is Jose's perspective on this?
If something does happen to you, not to say that something does happen, he'd at least like to know who you were with, one, to hold them responsible for.
I leave location tracking on my phone. If something happens to me, then he's fine. Just find my phone.
What happens if your phone gets taken from you?
Then they're gonna find who took it.
But what happens? I'm just saying, what happens if your body's in one spot, but your phone's in another spot, but the two things are not connected?
Do you want to be honest? At that point, it's not really my problem.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's my perspective. It's like, well, at that point, not much I can do. Do I want them to get closure on me? I don't really give a shit. I'm dead.
I did have a. I was getting annoyed by this girl the other day, and cause she wanted closure, and I just like I don't really want to interact with you anymore. And I'm just like, it's such a selfish thing to want closure from like a fuck relationship, and no one in my work spot could understand it. And I'm just like, you really don't want closure, because if you wanted closure, you kind of just sit there and be like, I need to come to grips that this person does not want to have sex with me or interact with me anymore. Like, I understand, because like if you're in a relationship with someone, they deserve to be dumped. You don't deserve to be. You shouldn't ghost on them.
Wait,
If I know when
wait, hold on. Can you repeat that? Someone just dropped a really heavy text message on me.
Ooh, wait, what's who?
I really don't think I can talk about it.
You don't want to put that in the Discord?
Yeah, give me a second. Let me finish my turn.
All right.
I'm not feeling confident about this this particular chain of events.
I don't think I'm doing good, but I'm hoping I'm doing good.
Superman does good. You're not doing well.
No, technically that's anyway.
The preview of my text just showed eye roll in brackets instead of showing me the emote.
Well, that's good. That's a good sign. That's always a good sign.
Can you finish your goddamn turn?
1 second, motherfucker.
One Mississippi.
I'm literally picking cards right now, doing my turn.
Just saying, man. Got your DD Baphomet. Where's your DD Gazelle, King of the Mythical Beasts? Gonna make DD Chimera.
All right, motherfucker. All right, now it's some bullshit prompt on your side because I can't do anything with my cards.
I have nothing. It's just my turn.
I can't.
Again.
I
It's
can't even
my
have my
turn.
turn. Okay, motherfucker.
I
Relax.
love when you don't even realize it's your turn.
Sometimes I don't. It's like a dick, bitch. We love
need-
struggling.
I need to add a 5-star. I need to add a 5-star synchro monster to this deck. It's a very big, glaring weakness. Also, I should have just added. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what my life is.
Sorry. I was debating if that was the card I want to activate. So, you excited for E3?
Sorry, friend's having a breakdown.
No worries. Do I know the friend?
Yeah. If this was a regular video, I could just edit it out. Because you're here, I can't.
You can still edit it out. Let me just.
I meant the silence. Hey, Carlos,
Well-
can you hold your own for a little bit?
Yeah, I got that. So, E3 is coming up, everyone, as we know. I'm looking forward to it as always. I think like it's becoming fewer and fewer people who actually look forward to E3. I don't know. I just enjoy like knowing what the field's gonna look like for the next couple of years in terms of games. But other people are just like, they're not showing enough things that are coming out this year. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. I just like to know what's coming out over the years, even if it doesn't live up to the fucking Watch Dogs hype. I hope they're not making like a Watch Dogs 3. Kind of. But if they were to make a Watch Dogs 3, I'd hope they go back to like Watch Dogs 1, oddly enough, in terms of atmosphere and scope. That's probably not going to happen. They're probably going to make another shitty like satire game.
You loved Watch Dogs 2. What are you talking about?
No, I do love Watch Dogs 2, but I think Watch Dogs 3 would ruin what good things came from Watch Dogs 2 because it's Ubisoft.
I think no matter what their next game is, it's going to be ruined because it's Ubisoft.
No, then again,
they can. I'll say this: they occasionally can do good new IP. Occasionally they won't, with like For Honor and stuff like that. But when it comes to sequels, also it's your turn.
yeah, I'm
okay, just making sure. When it comes to sequels and threequels and fourquels and quintuplets, septuples, They're awful. They don't, they can't. They just don't know what they're doing. It's just that simple.
I was stupid.
You just stopped your own trap.
Yeah, I realized. I thought it was gonna. Yeah. We all make mistakes, Nicholas Zalis.
So,
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was good.
yeah, but it was technically like a spin-off.
Yeah.
Also, it wasn't as good as 2. It was like the start of the decline. Okay, let me put it a different way. Can you remember that Assassin's Creed Revelations came out after that?
I do have memories of Assassin's Creed Revelations being super fucking brown, having those cool Desmond missions, and then
Revelations is the reason. Do you say super fucking brown?
Yeah.
What?
I just remember Istanbul just being fucking brown, like everything just being brick and being dull.
Yeah. Revelations is where I fell off. Revelations is where I was like, wow, that was not good. And then I played halfway through 3. I was like, no, this is still not good. You had hope in your eyes after Revelations.
Yeah,
and you bought 3 at full price, and were just so upset with it. You were upset at Assassin's Creed 3 the way I was upset after watching Neon Genesis Evangelion. Where just
Really?
the more I thought back on it, I was just like, that was awful.
Really? You hated Evangelion that much?
Evangelion is the reason we have shitty anime today.
Oh, that's a take.
That
That's
is a
very
take.
hot take.
Evangelion is the reason we have bullshit Monster of the Week anime, where they dangle like a more interesting plot over your head for like 20 episodes, and then they finally get to the real plot, and it just does not live up to anything. It was always way more interesting when they finally showed it. It's like, this is stupid. That's what Evangelion brought us. You disagree?
I disagree, but
Too bad. I just watched it.
I just from my recollections, and I understand, but also I remember it having a real artistic style. I enjoyed the drawing, the atmosphere, the storytelling, the Christian imagery.
It was ruined a little bit when I read an interview that there were no actual themes with Christian imagery. They just picked it because it wasn't really familiar to Japanese people. So they just kind of picked and chose a couple images. There was no like overarching themes. It was just it was just a couple monsters that had Christian.
I'd say more
imagery.
that there was unintentional themes, but
anyway, I don't
piece
like
of-
it.
yeah.
You would even defend episode 25, the first ending. Congratulations, congratulations.
I really enjoyed the first ending.
I think that is a Mass Effect 3 level of cop-out. Where it's just like, artistic. Now we don't have to explain anything. Granted, Evangelion can get away with it more than Mass Effect 3 can, because it's not like, it wasn't that much of a like 180, but it was still like, I don't think this was your original intention. This just seems way too fucking like, alright, we didn't do anything, here you go. Blah. Especially knowing what Spencer told me, and that I guess the showrunner had such crippling depression that he had trouble getting episodes out on time. So to the point where he was not ready with an ending, and they didn't have the budget for it, so that's why we got that ending. It was literally a cop-out. I know for a fact it was a cop-out.
I don't agree with that conclusion, but
It's not. It's like a fact. Like he flat out said
I-
it's not what they wanted to do. So they had to scrap together what they could. That's
I don't
from him.
believe, I don't believe in cop-out endings. There's no such thing as a cop-out ending.
Shut the hell up.
Even the How I Met Your Mother ending is not a not a cop-out ending. It's just a poor ending.
See, there's no point in arguing with you though, because I know for a fact you're a contrarian. So regardless of what I say, it will never be, oh, I guess you're right. It will always be arguing against the point.
Here's what really pisses me off about that contrarian argument.
What?
And you're about to get a whole lot of Carlos emotions coming through.
Let's do it. Let's get
It's
some
because
real
it's
talk.
a stupid fucking argument every time someone says I'm being a contrarian. Because the stupid argument is you're not willing to hear that there's an opposite opinion. Of course I'm
No,
not gonna
that's
concede-
what your argument is. You're not willing to hear an opposite opinion.
No. Because 9 times out of 10, most people who argue like your cop-out argument or the constraints of the thing, whatnot, is that you come to the conclusion that art can only be made through intentional means and intentional purposes with intentional impact. Not that most art is completely unintentional. Most things are created with I had this intention, but the audience didn't actually feel that way about it. just like how we said, like most people don't understand, like with Mass Effect Andromeda, they didn't understand the importance of certain parts of their game, so they made a poor game. Most 9 times out of 10, the creator is creating something without the intention of how it impacts the viewer. So saying like it's a cop-out ending does not actually take away if it's a bad or good or whatever stupid ending we want to fixate on it. When we say a certain ending is bad, that doesn't really mean anything to the overall conversation, because what would be a good ending? That all the characters, that we wrap up all the plot holes, that doesn't really do anything for the overall status of the art. If we're going to talk about it, we have to talk about it in the proper way of saying like, all right, we've completely dropped off these themes, or these themes legitimately do not overall impact the way we look at the piece of work. To say that the Neon Genesis ending is a cop-out is a really stupid point, because it makes it seem like the entire point of the show was about all the monsters, when actually the show is about a 14-year-old boy dealing with his image crisis. At the end of the show, he realizes he has to find self-satisfaction. Like, I understand that you were more interested in like what the fuck Adam and Eve and what all that imagery meant, but I think in terms of the art, in terms of the biblical imagery, I think that does impact how we look at it, because Adam and Eve isn't really a story about the creation of man. It's more about how man figured out what the fuck it is, or what we are. Right. Because if we don't look at and to say I'm just being a contrarian is like, no, we're arguing. We have two different points of. There's no conceit. I don't have to concede ground in this.
General, in almost all of our conversations, you are a contrarian, meaning even if you do see the side of the argument, you will continue to argue against it, regardless of your opinion changed or not, because you like to argue.
Because that's not the point of a contrarian.
That's what a contrarian is. Just like a
contrarian is arguing against facts, and we never argue facts. What we argue is emotions and opinions, and I can always.
Sometimes we argue against facts. Sometimes we do. Maybe not today, because we're talking about art. If you want to go with that, but we've absolutely argued facts, and you do the token just keep arguing against it and keep coming up with minute things or tackling something that had nothing to do with the main argument. That is Carlos Lopes in a nutshell.
No, because even then, 9 times out of 10, I'm right. I'm gonna say it.
What? Absolutely not.
No. When it comes to facts, 9 times out of 10, I'm correct.
Incorrect.
The only time most people think I'm being a contrarian is when I'm arguing something about artwork or something, and they're just like, Carlos, you just have an unpopular opinion. And I'm like, no, you're just trying to put something in a box that doesn't need to be in a box.
Right, but let's go back to the Mass Effect thing real quick.
The Mass Effect ending?
Yes.
The war ending?
I think that the idea is that the series itself may have had a lot of themes, but art was never the main theme. And so it felt dissatisfactory for them to end it the way they did, because it did not coincide with the rest of the game at all for 3 series. And not just because of that, it's because maybe you could go with they were arguing that no matter what you do in life, choice doesn't really come out to anything. But I genuinely think that that's a poor way to view it, because at the end of the day, it's an interactive experience and it's a culmination of stories. And stories are supposed to have an ending. And at some point, like, you can't just be like, argument. That's it. At some point, stories have to have an ending. Yeah. That's a flawed argument.
Most of the greatest novels ever written, most criticism is like, there is really no ending to most of the great novels. The themes just continue on, the characters continue. There's no like, and then it was the end, and then he came to this conclusion. Like fucking The Great Gatsby doesn't technically have an end. He just, motherfuckers died, shit happens, and then the story just closes.
Right,
There's no
but those
resolution.
aren't interactive. Those aren't interactive situations. Those are just that's a book. You read it. It's a story. It's laid out. Mass Effect, you had multiple decisions that could lead to the end. That was what people wanted to see. They wanted to see their decisions matter.
I'm willing to hear that argument. I'm also willing to hear the argument of like the theme that Shepard's been indoctrinated the entire time.
Right, and I like that theme, but they did not leave enough breadcrumbs for it. Like, I agree with that.
43-minute video breaking it down.
No, I've seen the arguments, and at the time, I really wish they had gone with that, but it wasn't enough of like a definitive thing. Where honestly, if they had just made that the definitive ending, that Shepard was indoctrinated, I would have been fine, because then they could have made none of the choices matter, but it would have still felt satisfying because you still worked towards it. It still felt in line with the rest of the like lore in the game and everything like that. But just kind of going like, and done. Here's a cutscene. It just felt so flat. I'm just saying, with video games in particular, some of them can get away with artistic endings and some can't. Like, I know you're gonna argue with that, and that's fine. But like, I'm gonna say you can't really have like an artistic ending to Call of Duty. It doesn't really fit what it's trying to accomplish, I don't think.
I would disagree with that because I just feel like you're trying to put things in a box.
Well, I also just generally disagree that art is such an open form that you can never really be wrong. I kind of hate that mentality because it just means you can do whatever and everything's fine.
It's not that everything's fine. I think 9 times out of 10. See, there's two ways to look at it, because I think most of the time we keep video games at such a fucking intellectually low barrier in terms of storytelling and what our expectations. And then anytime something kind of like moves just a little bit to see like, hey, what happens if we try this? The turnaround and backlash to it is so striking that people are just like, nah, we better just keep going it the same way.
I mean, who are you talking to here? I love artistic games as much as the next man, but it needs to start from the beginning like that, or it needs to like at least have a natural progression towards it. Mass Effect did not.
I think the major, well, not even, I'd still say, because the more I think about Mass Effect 3 was like, there's just a lot of dumb decisions in that. But the ending to me doesn't really like ruin the past 40 hours that I played in that game.
I was actually thinking about this the other day, and that can an ending actually ruin an entire game? I mean, it shouldn't. Like, from like a purely factual basis, the beginning of the game is still there. Like, you can't really say that like later iterations of a movie ruin the earlier versions. So why would it be the same for video games? Like, the prequels don't ruin the original Star Wars, a lot of people would argue. So
no.
Exactly. So it's like, so technically the ending shouldn't ruin the game. But at the same time it does, because it's a part of the game. Like, how many times have you replayed Mass Effect 3?
Twice.
I don't think I've ever...
I played it first time, and then I played through it again. But I've only played Mass Effect 2 as well twice.
I've replayed Mass Effect 2. I platinumed it, and I've replayed it at least like 5 times, maybe between 5 and 10. And I've never finished a replay through of Mass Effect 3. Because I think a large part of it is, and I think this is particularly a big thing with like RPG type games, where it's like there's so much to do and so much to discover, is I feel like the mystery of not knowing like how the story is going to play out is a very large part of it. The driving force for when we were playing Nier was because we wanted to get to the end, we wanted to see how things progressed. And you were still motivated to do cutscenes and things like that, side quests and things like that, because genuinely you wanted to experience more of the game and more of the lore. But somehow with Mass Effect, it's like, you know how it all ends, and it's the same ending no matter what, so it almost like kills any sense of trying to do some extra stuff, because it's just not going to matter. It almost feels like that to me. And I think some games, it's not just Mass Effect 3, some other games like that, I also experienced that. But it's just, it can really just kill a motivation. Like, there's the flip side of that. Like, right now, I have Persona 5 almost finished. It's like, I know there's still some stuff left. I know there's still side quests and like extra like S-lings I can do and things like that. And because of that, I want to preserve that moment, and I'm not going to finish it yet, just because it's like, there's still like, I have no idea how it could end, and I have no idea what's going to happen. And I like that feeling. And I can't really, it's just like, so like, you know, I want to keep it, so I'm not playing it. But it's like, I will go back at some point. Do you get what I mean? Like the potential?
Yeah. I hear that. I disagree, but I understand your perspective of it. But I don't know. I don't. That's not how I play games. So
It is how I play games, and I think
yeah,
that's another part of it. I think is that you can't. You can defend video games and endings and stuff like that from the artful perspective and stuff like that. The reason I don't defend it is that I thought they just made a bad ending and then said the excuse later, oh, it was art. When that's not what they went in mind with. They went in mind with a deadline coming up and they had to get it done. And that's not genuine to me, if that makes sense. Where it's like, I don't think they put their hardest work into it. Like, surely that has to count for something. It's like the effort put in by the artist or the writer or, etc.
Oddly enough, I'd say it doesn't.
So
Because-
what I'm hearing is no to every one of your arguments today, Nick.
No, because here's the thing: if effort counted as, and this is going to sound a bit fucked up, because if effort counted, what it like the hearing someone fail making a game, we would then have to ask like, oh my god, did they struggle enough? Like, is there a certain point of pain that, like, oh, this guy chopped off his arm while making a game? Does that make his game better than another?
Well, no, because he wouldn't be able to finish coding because he only had one arm.
Well, fuck you and that stupid joke.
Fuck you in that stupid example. What are you talking about?
No, but like, I just mean like, I don't think we should value it that way, because if we do, then we're valuing someone's struggle rather than the artwork they created.
Why can't you value both? Why aren't they a part of a complete package?
Because then we're focusing mostly on the artist rather than the piece of art.
But that's
and so
possible sometimes.
That opens up a whole new other can of worms of
it is a can of worms, but it also exists. I think an artist can complement things like that.
Yeah, but then we have another struggle of if anything, it just keeps on categorizing each argument so that way each game can succeed on its own terms, instead of just saying like how you say you want me to be able to say there are bad endings. You want me to be able to say there are bad parts of a game.
I just think it's almost as crazy to me that you think there is no such thing as a bad ending.
I don't think there's a bad ending, such as like, I think you can say that Mass Effect 3 is a bad game, right? I think you, like, if Nick, you were to say Mass Effect 3 is a bad ending, is a bad game as a whole because of the ending, because of the impact of how it happened on the story, I can't argue that. I can say I disagree. I don't think the ending is that bad. And I think it helps reestablish certain values and themes and whatnot. And we can agree to disagree. And if anything, I'd say Mass Effect 3 is a heavily flawed game, at the most. But I think we're weighing certain parts of the game to such a degree that it doesn't come out even, or we're saying certain parts of the game matter more than other parts of the game.
But that's definitely true. I mean, forget the ending part. You're saying the beginning of a game doesn't matter more than other parts? If the beginning of the game can't hook you, then it's pointless. If you give up at the beginning of a game, then that is a flawed game based solely on the beginning.
I think there's merit to that argument, which I disagree with. No, because here's my disagreement with it. It's in the sense that, like, I understand that you say like, oh fuck, it's not gonna end well. The belief that, okay, if a game has a bad beginning, which I think is most games, I'd say have a bad beginning, but most of my favorite games have really great endings. A lot of games have trouble hooking me simply because, like, and this is my personal habit, 9 times out of 10 I don't want to play a new game. Like, it takes like a really good game to really make me want to play it through to the end.
I can get that. I have a lot of anime recommendations, and every time I'm just like, I really don't want to start a new anime. Like, I have no desire to. But games, I'll pick it up at like it's nothing.
I struggle with both. Like, I'd rather, it takes me
You would rather replay and rewatch the same things over and over
to really figure out what makes them good and what makes them tick. Like, I'm one of the few people probably who enjoy replaying Uncharted all the time, and I know that it has the same story. I'm fully aware, but I love every time I play through Uncharted and I see like how certain events flow, yada yada. And when I play a new game, it's like you have to really hook me in, or I have to just break you down enough to like I get in the mood to play you now. Like The Witcher, I'd say. I think the Witcher 3 has a pretty decent entry level.
I would have to disagree, but
I'd say decent because it works for me, and I
obviously haven't still played it.
Oh fuck! I fucked up.
Ooh. This shouldn't work, but it's going to. I'm sorry for what's about to happen. It's definitely not fair to you. I'll openly admit that.
Oh fuck!
That's kind of like cheating, but okay.
Does he have piercing damage?
Yes.
Oh fuck!
He looks fly as fuck. Target the 3 monsters of the same type in your opponent's graveyard. Banish them. If you do, 1 Buster Blader monster or 1 Destruction one gains each of those until the end of this card is in your graveyard. You can discard 1 Destruction. Now, I don't need to use that yet. So, let me ask you a different question.
What?
Has a game ever ended and you just felt sour? Like you were just like you did not enjoy the ending?
I'm trying to think.
Because
I think Assassin's Creed 3 is literally the only game, but even then, the ending isn't the worst part in that game to me. It's its entire existence.
Well, so let me phrase it a different way. Forget objectively, forget empirically, because that's a different argument. If I did not enjoy an ending, then is it not a bad ending for me?
I could see you saying like, for yourself, yes, you can say something's a bad ending. But I think overall in the conversation,
like I understand it's harder to argue that like definitively it's a bad ending, especially since everyone has different tastes and whatnot. But if I think based purely on definitions, if I don't think an ending was good, then it's a bad ending just for me.
I think you could argue that. Like, I think you can argue certain levels are bad or poorly designed, but even then, I'm just always like, I like to look at it, view it as a whole, because very rarely are you just playing a single level and taking that experience.
I guess the reason I see it this way is that the ending, the reason I weigh it more is that it's your turn, by the way.
No, I thought it was.
Is that I feel like the ending is a culmination of the game itself. Like the beginning you can take by itself because it's separated. You don't need the rest of the game to understand the beginning for most games. But the ending, it makes sense because of your experiences through the game. So thereby, some endings might be better if you do more side quests and understand more characters and stuff like that. And some might be better if you put more effort into it, or if you play more of the game, or just like that. Which is why I have such an issue with cookie cutter endings when you have such a massive game where it's like more things should matter and they don't. If that makes any sense.
It makes sense.
I do weigh the ending more heavy because it just, to me, it's, it needs to be.
This is I just see flaws in it because I'm like, I have a hard time understanding, for the most part, like a game with a really good ending, right? Because most games end themselves with like a cutscene of some sort, or they have a final level, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always just like, is this gonna work? Yes, it will.
No, it won't.
Yeah, well.
No, then yeah, well, okay. Actually, is that thing even allowed to attack? Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Did not go up as high as I want.
I mean, it had 0.
was just hoping for maybe a little bit more.
A little pep.
I'm trying to think of like a game with like a really bad ending that really just like soured on me. Like I remember people didn't like the Grand Theft Auto 4 ending, and I was just like, wow.
No, I like the Grand Theft Auto 4 ending. Generally, I think you and I agree on opinions of most games like that. Like most mass appeal games, usually you and I have more or less the same opinion. Except apparently, you know, Mass Effect.
But oh fuck, where'd my card go?
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
It's about to get worse.
What's happening? Did you fuck up?
No. My brother is trying to text me right now. I'm just like, I just told you I'm recording. Like, I can't have a conversation right now. Also just left like 6 huge messages from that friend, and I feel really guilty right now. So we got a heated debate.
Do you want to text your friend right now?
No, keep going. It's
Fuck. I'm trying to think of a game with a really bad ending, and I'm like having a hard time struggling with it. Cause then like what, like you said, like a summation of everything, kind of for the ending. I was just like,
okay. How about this? Deus Ex Mankind Divided, where there was supposed to be so much more to the game, you could clearly tell, and it just kind of goes, all right, nothing's really changed. Things more or less are continuing.
I'd say that's bad plot.
Isn't the ending part of the plot?
No. But I'd say it as a whole.
I guess, but it just seems like it feels like you're putting things into different categories.
No, to me it feels like you're breaking apart pieces of what you don't like to pretty certain parts you do like.
Yeah.
But one part can outweigh all the other parts depending on how bad it is.
Yeah, I agree. That comes back to the Mass Effect 3 argument. I think the ending was so bad it ruined the game for me. Like, the rest of the game is pretty good. Mass Effect 3, like, before the ending is a pretty solid game. But it was so jarring to me that it spoiled the rest of the game. I mean, there are other parts, there are other, like, levels and stuff, or there are other, like, levels in games that are much better. Like, I think this shining, like, the most important part of Titanfall 2 is the fucking dimension shifting level. And that has nothing to do with the ending or the beginning. That's just one great level. And I think that rises the game's, like, clout, like, just a good amount, like, a couple points just on its own.
I can hear that. I still disagree, but I can hear it.
Are you allowing other opinions?
I've been trying to move away from that because I think like it allows for shitty levels in games in a sense.
What do you mean?
Like I'm trying to like Mirror's Edge, the original. The first 4 levels of that game are nearly perfect, and then the rest of the game is nearly impossible to get through without a gun. Can you stop using my monsters to summon yours?
Oh, was I not supposed to do that?
No. I need those cards.
Oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
But like Mirror's, I typify the Mirror's Edge as a noteworthy game that's poorly designed because they focus way too much on gunplay, and that's such a terrible mechanic overall in gaming. No shit. Nothing but hits with an S at the end. You buy that MacBook?
Carlos has briefly forgotten he's recording.
Oh, sorry, my roommate asked me for the Wi-Fi password.
Now chatting with his roommate.
I'll text it to you right now.
All right.
Yeah, it's your turn anyway. But
Yeah.
Mirror's Edge, such a it's super flawed. Especially Mirror's Edge Catalyst is bad. That's a bad game. If you want to talk about bad games, that's a bad game. It ruined everything good about the first game.
I guess what I'm trying
Oh
to
my
say
God.
is my whole argument is that if
Our
I
argument came from Neon Genesis.
right, we can go back to that. And we really want to get heated again. Is that I just feel like even if Neon Genesis Evangelion is fine, it set the standard for so many bad anime to follow that I can't really forgive it. Even if
There's
it
so
makes
many good
sense, even if it makes this sense in the context of Evangelion, it
There's
just
so much like good anime as well came out of it is influenced by it.
I've been burnt so many times on just like they dangle like a really good plot, and I will agree that the little bit they dangle on Evangelion was great, and that's the part I was interested the most in, which is why I generally like the movie better, because I was like, okay, well, they finally explained some of this stuff. That's good. That's what I wanted from this. And it's like, it's just the fact that it was just so, not bait and twist. That's the wrong word. It's just like
talk about a contrarian opinion. This is a contrarian opinion.
what is.
You saying Neon Genesis is bad and had a negative impact on the industry.
I'll even like, I won't even say it's like bad. It's bad for me. That I'll say, but I will say it both had a positive and negative effect on the industry.
But then again, you tend to hate classics for some reason.
I don't really hate classics.
9 times out of 10, if I tell you
Really?
something is a classic.
Okay, Carlos, give me 10 examples of classics since you keep going to 9
You
times out
hated
of 10.
Akira. You hated.
I didn't hate Akira. I liked Akira. I thought it didn't hold up.
I remember you being very.
No,
lukewarm.
I said it didn't hold up as well today, but I can absolutely see why it was so popular. It's still a solid movie.
And the second word. I can't believe that worked.
Yeah, I don't really have that much trap defense. Okay, so that's one. Name 9 more, Carlos. You've said 9 out of 10 times, at least 7 times in this video.
Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye is an awful book. It's all
That
about.
is
Okay, well,
it's a classic novel.
well, it takes. Catcher in the Rye gave certain people like the. How do I put this? Catcher in the Rye inspired certain people in the wrong way, where they would go around thinking like, "Oh, the world is shit," and blah blah, blah, where it should be a satire of how you act as a kid and how you don't really know what you're doing. Like, if you take it from that point of view, it's a great book, but if you're a fucking like 13-year-old in school,
So you're mad. So you're mad at the audience, is what you want to say.
yeah, but that's allowed. The audience wouldn't be enabled if it didn't exist. I can get mad at people taking satire wrong, and still blaming the thing that did the satire in the first place.
I don't even really think that it's necessarily satire, but
That makes it worse. It's such a whiny cunt. I hate it. It's a terrible, like, reading it as someone who had already been through some shit as like a kid. I was just like, your problems are nothing. You're such a whiny bitch.
it's like the worst way to like handle anything.
Yeah, it is for most of my childhood. Okay, so that's 2. Let's go with 8 more. Come on, Carlos.
more.
Let's do the top 10 countdown.
I'm trying to think of other
Back up your
classics
facts. 9 out of 10.
that, you still haven't seen Ghost in the Shell, right?
No, so you can't judge it because I haven't seen it.
Actually, if anything, most classics you refuse to interact with.
So we have 2 examples. So
Te-
9 out
technically,
of 10.
Technically, that still works. 9 out of 10.
No, it doesn't. 9 out of 10 doesn't divide to 1/2.
Wait, what was that movie? I'm trying to think. There was a movie that you did not like, and I was just like,
There's
"Well, it's
been
a
a lot
classic."
that I don't like.
Was it? No, it wasn't 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I haven't seen it.
I remember me and Pat both being shocked by it. I'm gonna have to reach out to Pat.
Please finish the turn.
All right, one second. I was figuring out if the other card was gonna work. How am I this low on life points? This is not good.
This is the story of a girl who cried
Cried
a river and drowned the whole world.
That's a bad song.
She always looks so sad in photographs. I absolutely love her, which is weird because it means he has a depression fetish. But, you know,
It's just that. Oh,
when
God,
she
that's awful.
smiles.
I remember that was Katie Murray's whatchamacallit.
That fucking
voice
makes
message.
sense. What a...
What a basic white girl.
So, for your 9 times out of 10, we have 2 whole examples. Thanks. I think you,
I'm gonna think-
you may need to stop using that phrase unless you can think of better. You may need to start saying 3 out of 4 times, maybe work it to 1 out of 2,
majority.
half the time,
The majority.
51% of the time.
I know yeah. Actually, if anything, you just have no interest in watching it, dealing with anything like that's determined as a classic.
Because I don't really need them, if that makes sense. I don't really, like, you and I have very different views on art. For me, I definitely appreciate certain art things, but I hate that it's just like this general umbrella that makes anything under it, like, safe and should be praised. That bothers me. Describe to me bad art.
Transformers.
So any form of media is art then?
Well, technically, yes.
That's what I mean. I don't like the idea of this being such an
Actually,
over-encompassing.
I wouldn't say any form of media, but I'd say like there's certain aspects that are.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome back to the stage, Buster Blader.
He's a buster.
He's also a blader.
Team X-Blade. Oh, Brink.
We got a heated debate today.
Remember when? Yeah, we did. I haven't had a good debate in a while, so.
Remember what?
What was I gonna say?
You've already forgotten.
Yep.
You have a goldfish
Okay.
memory.
Sometimes I do, but I had like 2 thoughts going on at the same time, so I didn't. I
Oh,
wasn't
you got
able
some
to-
thoughts going on? Is that what this is? That's a stupid
I-
joke. You should not. You should not allow that. You should ban that joke.
Ah, damn! I thought my red. No, that was a different duel. Oh yeah, so we have E3 coming up. Are we gonna talk about that or not?
They want us to do an E3 podcast.
Really? Are we not gonna have predictions?
I guess they want that. I don't really give a shit, to be honest.
Wanna know what I'm excited for?
What?
I'm gonna find out what Visceral is working on. With
They've
the
been
Star
working.
Wars
I was
license.
gonna say they're working on a Star Wars game, haven't they?
Yeah, and they got Amy Hennig, the lady who came up with the first Uncharted game,
Interesting.
and Tomb Raider. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, that
Granted,
could be
she
good.
was also the head of the worst Uncharted game, arguably.
3.
Yeah,
What is
the ranking.
What has Visceral done other than Dead Space? They also did Dante's Inferno, right?
Battlefield Hardline. No, I don't think they did Dante's Inferno.
I'm pretty sure they did. I think I looked it up at one point. Carlos the Contrarian arguing that they didn't do it when he doesn't know. It's arguing
No,
against the
but
facts.
I don't think that was an EA game.
It was definitely EA.
Oh, it was an EA game.
Was it also?
It was a Visceral.
Bam!
Yeah. I'm sorry. It didn't fit with me like seeing them make that game.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Action game.
Funny. They made Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, Battlefield Hardline.
But not the first Army of Two?
Yeah, no.
That's weird.
No,
What the fuck is that sound?
That's the fucking ice cream man.
It's so goddamn loud.
Yeah, welcome to my life. It seems like he's in the
Jesus
apartment.
Christ. How have you not gone insane? Well,
Because he doesn't show up that often.
you could argue. Oh, hey, guess what I bought?
What?
WWE Raw vs. SmackDown 2006.
Oh, what console?
PS2.
How?
So
the PS Now?
no, when I was repairing my disc at the local for Monster Rancher 4 at the electronics shop down the street, they wouldn't take. It was $3 a disc, and I had 2 of them. But they said they wouldn't take it unless they couldn't use my card unless I had like a $10 limit or a $10 minimum, which is illegal, by the way. But I was like, whatever, it's your store. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So I just went and I was like, while I was waiting for them to fix it, I saw it and I was like, I gotta find it again. And I grabbed it. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006.
What a good year. Who's on the cover of that?
I think it's Batista and John Cena.
Ooh.
I'm going off memory. I don't know.
Batista. He's got beef with the WWE now.
He doesn't matter. He's Drax. He's a movie star.
Yeah, that's why they have beef.
But yeah, we should play that. I think we would have a fun time.
Just so I can hate everything about wrestling.
Yeah.
I've really gone sour on wrestling ever since like Trump happened. It's really sad.
What?
Legitimately, because I know that the money that the McMahons get goes to Trump.
Gotcha.
And it's just like now I just no longer watch WWE wrestling. I just try to find wrestling from other spots.
By the way, we have not shouted out John Barnett's.
Oh yeah, he commented today on a video.
He did. He commented on. He really liked the Anal Slayer story. He was like the only one who liked it.
Yeah, that was good quality content.
I thought it
for
was
free.
I thought it was classic.
I think it was a great story.
Can you quickly just bring up John Barnett's Twitter picture?
What's his Twitter picture? Isn't him getting licked by a dog?
It's a cat.
Same thing.
It's cute. All of you should follow at John Barnett, at John M Barnett, just for that picture.
He's playing with fire.
What?
Oh yeah, it is a cat. That's his whole That's his whole government name out there.
What do you think the M stands for? Let's take a guess. Mitchell, Michael, Mark,
Malcolm.
Malcolm. That seems like a John Barnett name. John and Malcolm Barnett.
In the middle. How long have we been recording for? Has it been an hour?
It's been an hour. We're done. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for listening. Anyone who disagrees or agrees with any arguments, sound off in the comments. I look forward to having Carlos fight you.
Oh, I will type up a nice nice YouTube essay.
Yeah, no character limit. You got all the time in the world.
I'll have paragraphs. I'll have indents. You're gonna be mad.
Till next time.